think the media sends out messages sometimes which frighten people, sometimes they inform people. They are not often neutral, and they influence people's views about health and healthcare and sometimes determine their behaviour. So it's important to understand media health communication if you want to understand why people behave in the way that they do. Yes, I think, for example, cancer gets a great deal of coverage. And it also, at least in my country, perhaps in others, receives a lot of funding and charitable donations. So cancer receives a lot of funding, but some cancers more than others. I mean, breast cancer receives a huge amount of coverage, but bowel cancer, which is quite common, gets very little coverage. So the different parts of the body are of more interest to journalists. You know, people don't like thinking about bowels, but some people like thinking about breasts. So it's a rather disturbing feature of media coverage that it's influenced by things like that. I think it's influenced by an entertainment agenda. The media has to sell its products. They have to have viewers or readers, and so they want to write about things which will attract people to their newspaper or their television station. So that means they don't map exactly onto epidemiological distribution of diseases. If they did, the media would be very boring. Yes, I think it can do. Yes, and particularly the internet, I think. If you think of the internet as a medium, I think that's changed a great deal. But old-fashioned media, press, broadcast media, are a source of information for patients, and I think they do influence people. And they influence how people perceive disease and other people with disease. For example, the portrayal of mental illness is sometimes quite stigmatizing, and that's been shown to affect how people think about mental illness and mentally ill people. So yes, it does influence people. I think the studies that I know of patients and the internet have suggested, patients sometimes feel empowered by the information they can gain, and sometimes they're quite puzzled, and it raises more questions than it answers. From doctors' point of view, some doctors, I think, would prefer it if patients didn't look at the internet, because it means they ask difficult questions and they become confused. Other doctors are very positive about the internet. They see it as a way in which patients can become empowered and take control of their disease, become more self-directing. And so I think people's views about it are mixed. My personal view is that the internet's wonderful, and you can find out all sorts of useful things about illness which can enhance your management of your own health and your own disease.